United for Success in Praise On Ministries, Reverend Michael Middlebrook. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning there, Mighty Mike. Blessed to be here, brother, and thanks for allowing us to come on to talk about us, Unity for Success.
That's what's up, man. But we're going to talk about quite a bit of stuff this morning. The program when we were Kings and Queens is coming up this weekend.
That is correct. It's coming up this February 28th, this Saturday at 10 a.m. sharp. We will start a short honorary service, and it will be located right there on Elm Street where the hut is. Everybody knows where the hut is. If you're from Mississippi County, from Blytheville, Arkansas, you're supposed to know what a hut is. And that location has very significant historic value. And that was the location of BUI, which was Black United Youth, which was a Black Power movement in Blytheville. That was the location of their boycott and 30-day picket. And also the location that our hero, Mr. Sonny Carter Williams, was slain right there in that parking lot. And so I thought it was important that we go back to the location where the Black Power movement in Blytheville showed its impact and the change it made on our city and our county that we're still receiving benefits from, but most people don't know the reason why so many opportunities was given to some in the 80s and 90s because of the work of these brave men and women.
So these events will be commemorated starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, this coming Saturday.
That is correct. It will start.
Who is invited to attend?
This is open to the general public. It will be family friendly. The theme will be a 70s theme because that's the period of this movement. So we encourage, if you have a dashiki, if you want to dress in some extravagant African colors, come out. If you want to bring a sign, if you want to put a poster on your car, because we're going to have a car parade also, but it's open to the general public. We invite all politicians, all ministers, all community organizations, and children are welcome with their adult parents or with a guardian.
Okay. You mentioned the parade. Who will be in the parade?
The parade will be a car parade, and we're hoping that all that come out to the event come prepared to be a part of the parade. So it's a honorary memorial act of grace and respect for these men and women. And the parade will start in front of the hut, and we will drive as a group to Williams Park, and we will circle Williams Park, and we will come back to the front location where we have another short service and ceremony and balloon release as a closing part of the first half of the When We Were Kings and Kings program.
All right, now that I guess takes us to the second part of When We Were Kings and Queens.
Yes, that is correct. I am so excited to say that we are collaborating with the Delta Museum here in Blytheville, Delta Gateway Museum. Immediately after our event, we're working together. We will ask the crowd to leave Williams Park and head to the Delta Gateway Museum on Main Street, where they have set up a wonderful display of history, recognizing Black history, recognizing these local heroes that many don't know were literally from Blytheville, Arkansas. We will have a light snack with Reverend Mike's famous smoked bologna, and we will do a presentation there as well. That part of the program will last about an hour and a half. So initially we start at 10 a.m. The car parade starts at 10:45. We will leave Williams Park about 11:45, headed to the Delta Gateway Museum, and that event will last from 12 o'clock to about 1:30 to 2 p.m.
Okay, so during these programs, there are some dignitaries who will be offered awards.
That is correct. I'm so happy to say that we're honoring again the founders of Black United Youth. I really hope the residents understand when you say founder, you say a group of individuals or a individual who started something that not only impacted Blytheville, Arkansas, but the effect was felt all over the state of Arkansas. They literally branched out and had locations in 5 or 6 cities in Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas, Forest City, West Helena, other Mariana, other cities joined together with the Blytheville group to really create social change throughout the state. So the first two honorees would be the man himself, a brother by the name Bob Broadwater. And most people, if you're under 55 or 60, you probably haven't heard that name ever. But if you're over 65, he is very famous. He's locally from Blytheville, initially had roots with the Black Panthers, initially moved on to starting the organization of Black United Youth. He is from Blytheville, Arkansas. We spoke on the phone about 2 months ago. He really don't like to talk a lot, and I'm going to share more of that during our discussion today. But at the end of our conversation, he was calling me his godson because he was glad to know that the movement, the message was still continuing 55 years later in this city of Blytheville. The other great honoree would be Mr. Archie Cooper. Mr. Archie Cooper and Bob Broadwater were best friends. And these two gentlemen literally started Black United Youth. We will also be honoring Miss Joyce Cooper Hunter, who served as the first secretary for Black United Youth. So those are the three key honorees, and there will be others. I just want to break it up to give that distinction.
Okay. What else would you like to add this morning?
Well, what I would like to share in terms of the program honorees, we're going to be honoring Mother Virginia Dunn for her life as a historian, a family, a Black family who's had businesses in Blytheville and on Ash Street, all over this community for at least 4 to 5 generations. And we're going to honor her for her historic leadership in education and justice, again, in ministry and community service. And I'm proud to say she is the prayer warrior and spiritual leader for us, Unity for Success. So she's still participating and being involved. We will also honor Brother Albert Beasley. He is an historian and political strategist who's been involved in activism in politics since 1968 and still active today. In fact, he is, again, a historian that's a part of Black United Youth that's going to help share the message of leadership in our community dating back well into the early 60s and beyond. We will also be honoring Miss Sandra King as an educator and historian, Miss Sue Jeffers as an educator and historian, Dr. Abraham as a physician and historian. And also, I'm so pleased to announce we're going to honor Pastor Johnny Williams, who was one of the original high school students that were arrested for the Blytheville High School walkout. This man has a life of service, not only as a pastor and a leader in our community, but he was a proud soldier during the movement of the 1970s. In addition, we will be honoring Tony Hollis as one of our community activists that's still active even into the day, and the founder of his social media ministry called Testify. And I will tell everybody, he bridges the gap between the 1970s activists to where we have activism going on today. And being in the role of an activist is a difficult role. You're trying to help people and push in ways that are not normal and common. And often the people you're helping are also in not offending them, but you're speaking in a tone that maybe they're not comfortable with. And we have to understand it takes some of that to bring attention to the issues that people of color and poor people and marginalized communities need. Somebody's got to be honking a horn. So we're going to recognize him as well.
Man, this is a great lineup of people that you are recognizing during this program when we were kings and queens. And I know that I'm echoing what you're saying and looking forward to the program coming to fruition.
All right. Not only that, Mike, we're going to have some honorary mentions. Often when you think of the Black Power movement and Black United Youth, you don't realize these young men and women were really young. We're talking about high school students, maybe a college student here or there, some junior high school students. So out of desperation to make change, they had no formal training. They just knew our conditions had to change. But in the background, they had men of faith who were praying for them and supporting them and providing venues for them and resources. And two of those great men, most people don't know, was Dr. L.B. Burton, often used his church, Progressive Baptist Church, to allow these students to gather, to strategize. He would bless them out of his own front pocket. So we're going to recognize him, as well as Pastor Lawrence Eccles Sr. These two pastors were honorary members of Black United Youth who provided shelter, resources, prayer and covering, and helped provide some structure for these young men and women who was trying to make social change in our community. And I'm going to mention a couple of more names, if you will allow me. We're going to give honorary mention to Sister Sarah Hale. Most people don't know that she was the first Black woman to run for mayor in the city of Blytheville. So she was the first one to kick that door to say that we can have representation of color and we can have a woman as mayor in our city. And she did this back in the late 80s, early 90s, if I have the date right. We will have that exact date. And we're going to recognize Mr. Charles Sanders, who was the first Black city councilman of Blytheville, Arkansas. And we have a few surprise honorees that we're going to announce during that day.
Mike, it sounds like you have a great lineup, a great day planned, and I know that this community has to be looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you so much. And I know you never like to be recognized and given due respect, but I'm going to let the cat out the bag. You are also being mentioned and honored in this lineup of kings and queens that continues the movement and has a voice through social media, social change, and truly just love for your community. Your giving of yourself and your time and your talent to make sure our message and our voice goes out is something we want to make sure that all of the listeners of KJAM are aware, that all of the citizens of Mississippi County and beyond are aware that we still have kings and queens that have been carrying the torch and the barrier for change, all of us in our own individual ways. And you are definitely a leader in that category. And we thank you so much for your service. We thank you for being a part of us, Unity for Success. We thank you for being a voice for this community and for our people.
You are too kind. God bless you. So, Mike, if you don't mind, talk a little more about how Unity for Success was founded and what was your vision when you started to work on it?
That's an excellent question, Mike. And one thing I like to share with the community and all of my friends that have been with me on my personal journey know that activism is part of my DNA. My father was also a part of Black United Youth. My mother, Margie, played a strong role in Black United Youth. And both of my step-parents were community leaders and involved in social change. So having a family that's linked in to the movement and the struggle of our people is just a natural course for me. So sometimes God brings things together and you don't even know the makings of the course of what he's doing. And one of the conversations that came out with Mr. Bob Broadwater, you have to remember I was only 8 years old doing this movement that lasted a month. And it was forever sketched in my mind because as an 8-year-old, I literally used to ride my tricycle up to the hut and to the American Legion, the pool hall, and I was literally an active participant in that boycott in 1970 as an 8-year-old. I was also there. I wasn't there the moment that Mr. Sonny Williams was assassinated, but I was there earlier that morning because my grandfather managed the pool hall and the hut. And I came back later that day, and as a child, I can remember the blood stains on the driveway. So realizing that was a life-changing moment for me, even as an 8-year-old, that I've always been passionate about sharing the story of these great men and women. So as I became a pastor and grew into ministry, God quickly moved me to realize I have more than one gift and more than one space to serve in. And because I accepted the charge to minister the word of God, I didn't have to give up my role of activism and social change. I just had to find a way to merge the two in a respectful and graceful way. So I immediately started thinking of ways to start social groups. And back in the 1990s, myself and Mr. Tony Hollis, Lonnie Middlebrook, Hattie Middlebrook, Shirley Harvell, Miss Vicki Robinson, and a few others started a social group called Concerned Citizens of South Blytheville. And we literally addressed social issues. We had great impact on change during the early 90s and up through around the year 2000. So that group never stopped, Concerned Citizens of South Blytheville. It's still active through Tony Hollis and through me. We just were quietly in the background making change. So Unity for Success really became a branch off of Concerned Citizens of South Blytheville because I felt that it was time to reactivate in a public way and bring a message to our people that we are a community of leaders. We have a history. And unless you know your history, that we always fought back. We never gave up. We always looked to make social change and impact during oppression and unfair distributions of resources. So it's time for us to stand up to the true calling and leaders that we are in this community. So our social community action group, Unity for Success, is a branch going all the way back to BUY. And it's had many names and many forms spiritually, but it's all about social justice, social change, fair distributions of resources, making sure our community is not left out of any opportunities in our area. And I'm proud to say Unity for Success, we're in year 2. So we've been doing programs for the last year and a half, and we're just putting the work in. And we're hoping that others come along.
I've noticed that you've been doing programs for the last year and a half,
Yeah.
but I also know something that maybe some others don't know about you, that you have been quietly working in the background for ever, actually, since childhood, and now it becomes time for you to bring your actions to the forefront so that everyone can see that you've been doing this work all along, and just there were a number of people who had no idea that you were working as diligently in the background as you have been.
I agree, Mike. I learned a lot from men and women who inputted into me that this is a life work. It's not something you do quick and change come quick. You have to set yourself for the pace of being involved in change throughout your life and throughout the journey of progress for our people. So I've been involved. I learned that if you're in the public and out front all the time, you're going to get burnt out and wore out. It's okay to be a servant from behind the scenes and supporting others. If you think about Reverend Jesse Jackson, he has never, ever held a elective position, but he's always been involved with social change and impact, going back to Dr. Martin Luther King. In fact, his Reverend Jesse Jackson continued the message of Dr. King. And most people don't understand that. Even some of the original members and the elders in the LCLC was not happy with the direction that Jesse Jackson went on it. But if you remember and listen to the I'm on the Mountain speech, he mentions Jesse Jackson 2 or 3 times. He summons him spiritually. Jesse, this is literally in the speech. And he's asking Jesse, what are we going to do? And Jesse tells him, we're going to make them feel the pain. And when he said we're going to make them feel the pain, he's talking about economic strategy, that our power is to get involved, not just picketing, but get involved with economic issues. Organize our people to know that if we can show as a group the impact we have on the economy, and if we can come together and create efforts not only just in civil rights, in social rights and economic rights and opportunities, and Jesse took that message to Chicago and started the Rainbow Coalition and Operation Breadbasket. All of that is an extension from the civil rights movement. So we have to understand holding an elected position is not the only way to lead. So I was trained to realize, be out front for a while, go behind the scenes for a while, continue to work on your personal influence and impact in your social circles, in corporate America, in the ministry, tie all of that together. Spend quality time in all of those areas. And when the timing is right, you come out public and you're trying to bring all of these sectors and forces of strength together. So that's been my passion. How do I step out front for a while? How do I move behind the scene for a while? But as you said, I have been working all of my adulthood for social change. And I never wanted credit. I never wanted me to be the talk of the story. It was just about making sure that the movement continued by helping others. But there comes a time when God calls you to step out front, because now we need men and women who are willing to stand up 10 toes down and not just preach and speak truth in the church, but speak it in the streets and to the powers to be. So we're in a unique time in this country and around the world that we need men and women who are not ashamed of the gospel and not ashamed of social justice and are willing to stand up and speak to issues that affect marginalized people and people of color. Dr. Martin Luther King said, the beginning of the end of life is the moment we become silent about issues that concerns us most. So we at a time that it's time for all of us to find our voice and to stand up and speak. If we don't, we will not change the condition and the path that has been set forth for us. And it's not the path that the leaders of the past wanted for us. They worked too hard to see us go back 30, 40, 50 years. I'm passionate about this, Mike.
I know you are. I know absolutely that you are, and I'm glad that you are. I'm glad for the work that you are doing, and we're looking forward to seeing the dreams that we have come to fruition.
You know, one of the things I believe wholeheartedly in is strategy. It's not enough to complain. Anybody can complain about a situation. Anybody can speak on a situation. But along with your complaint, there comes action and a strategy. And all of us can make a difference. You just have to be willing to put the work with your word. See, it's easy to speak the word, but if you're not willing to put your hands on the plow and create a way through combined relationships and networking to make social change and to make impact, you're not completing the journey. So what you will hear from Mike Middlebrook, from our team, us, Unity for Success, as we continue to get better, more effective. We continue to have more programs. In fact, we've just set up a schedule with the Blauville Public Library, us, Unity for Success, our social community outreach. Will be having monthly town hall meetings starting March 21st. So you will see us way more active in the public, speaking on social issues, speaking on political issues, speaking on ministry issues, speaking on Black power, Black economics, speaking on job creations and all the things it takes to bring a better quality of life to our community, and not just in Blytheville, but the whole county. You fit to see an insurgent, and this has nothing to do with my political aspirations. This is the work. Unity for Success is about putting in the work beyond just talking to create unity, love, and togetherness for our community.
Well, Reverend Mike, listen, I appreciate the updates so very much, and we thank you for your time this morning. We thank you for your efforts, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Look forward to it. We want the whole community to come out. Please come out. I'm sure when just listing the few honorees we have on there, everybody know at least one or two names on there. This is going to be an annual event. It's literally going to be a celebration of life, freedom, activism, social change, but not just the change of the past, the changes we intend to make in the future. We already have plans to try to use that property where Ernest Ray's grocery was to turn that negative into a benefit for our community. We have future plans, maybe a resource center on that property, maybe a museum on that property. And Mike, you know well, Unity for Success, one of our main goals is to rehabilitate, reestablish the Black Business District of Ash Street, and also the first industrial district in Blythesville, which was Elm Street. We have a long-range plan to work with the city and the county and state officials to really revive that whole area. Now, we can't do that alone, but that's one of the reasons you're seeing me so active. It's not enough just to talk about it. You got to put the work in. And my son-in-law often says, your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. So we're networking now to build a foundation of net worth so we can truly make change in infrastructure and social justice and policies and issues that affect our people. So this is not the end. This is the beginning of a movement that will be going forth from now and years to come. So come on board.
Mike, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Have a blessed day, brother.